All right, let's get to work here, boys and girls. Thank you for stopping by and being a part of this little exercise in faith. Eon Monk, 444, Deborah, Donna. Let's see. Oh, by the way, tell me how my sound is. Brother Vet. Scrolling backwards to capture some names. Okay, I reckon that's far enough. St. Tommy and Brad. So, anyone want to jump in and help me read? And we've got our first victim. Hello, Tommy Bobami.
Hey, sir. You can call me a volunteer if you want to.
Sure. You have any crazy dreams last night?
Yes, sir, but none that I can recall.
I love dreams.
I've been trying to.
They're so fun.
I've been trying to figure a way to recall them.
Well,
I guess I'd better go back to memory school.
no. Here's the deal. For me, this works for me. Is you take cacao, which is a chocolate that has no sugars in it at all. It's just kind of almost bitter chocolate, and stir it in your coffee or your tea. And somehow it has an effect on the pineal gland in your brain so that you remember your dreams. And that's the only time I remember my dreams, when I just the day before or the night before I had cacao in my coffee. And then I'll have some kind of crazy dream, and it's so fun. And I'm assuming that it has other health benefits. I don't know if remembering your dream is a health benefit, but it's fun.
I once saw a video of a man who recalled the name of every marathon runner at the Boston Marathon.
How odd.
Well, he had a good memory.
Mm-hmm.
And he had a tactic there was a way that he did it. He trained his mind somehow
Mm-hmm.
by association or something.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I'm sure that's very boring. Sure of it. Cacao. Yeah, sounds good.
Mm-hmm. Hello, Mr. Howdy.
Good morning, guys and gals.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Thank you.
How's everyone doing today?
No snow here in the Salt Lake Valley, but I can look on the mountains and see that the mountains are pretty covered with snow. So there. But it's not that way for Dennis and the Michigan brothers. They got plenty of snow.
Pretty good for one beer battered brain who just awakened from a good sleep. All things considered. Yes. Thank you for asking.
Do you get hungover at all?
No, I haven't drank beer in quite some time, but I attribute some uh, of my brain
Residual.
to be jaded by former youthful sports such as beer drinking. Yes. Ooh.
Oh, you're talking like long term. Well, I'm doing pretty good today.
Mm.
So,
Go on. Go on. We want to hear about it.
Yes.
So over the night, silver went up another 10%.
10% in one night? Good night. Well, sir. So is this the beginning of the hyperinflation that we've been waiting for the last 50 years?
No, probably not, but
Is
one
this
can hope.
is this a strategy imposed by the Chinese?
A Chinese stratagem. Was this in Sun Tzu's Art of War?
Yeah.
What would it be?
Well, that's what I heard anyway, that the Chinese are driving the silver market up. Toward what end? I don't know.
Yeah, I heard there was a couple of reasons for it.
So howdy. I don't know how much you pay attention to these things, but I wanted to ask you, do you think silver is on sale right now, or is it overpriced?
Well, I don't think money's worth anything, so you should buy anything that you can.
Mhm.
Try to buy something that doesn't lose its value.
Right, like aluminum foil and lumber.
Yeah, I mean that would be fine too. Although that's you're going to need a lot of storage depending on how much
Right. Yeah, that's good.
paper you have to throw around.
That's a good answer. That the U.S. dollar is not technically worth anything, so almost anything would be better than holding that shit.
Has the U.S. dollar ever been worth anything?
Yes.
When?
In the cowboy days, the dollar was technically a 1 ounce silver coin. That was the technical definition of the dollar. In fact, the name even came from a manufacturer of 1 ounce silver coins, and they were called the Thaler, Thollar. The Thaler company made 1 ounce silver coins for many years, and one thing became another, and the name devolved into the dollar. And then in 1913, the dark overlords of the universe began to pull the true value out of their currency.
Uh,
You ever heard of the dark overlords of the universe?
oh yeah, they sell ice cubes to Eskimos.
Yeah, they have funny ears
Yeah,
and itty bitty eyes, and they're in a bad mood, generally speaking, kind of like the Christian God. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Howdy, but
Oh, I was finished. I didn't have anything.
kind of like the boogeyman under my
Hmm.
bed. The dark overlords of our economic world. Yes.
So Tommy, could you take up the reading? So
You
me
know
and
I could. You
so
know
me
I
and
could.
Howdy can enjoy it.
I beg your pardon?
So me and Howdy can enjoy it.
Yeah, but I have to run to the washroom briefly. I
Okay.
hate not to hog attention, but anyway, I'll be right back.
So, Howdy, I have a little story in my past about the price of silver and gold. So, back in the 80s, I started kind of paying attention to the gold market, to the gold universe, and to the gold story. And I was pretty well acquainted with it all, And then, and knowing that the dark overlords of the universe are always trying to manipulate things for whatever reason they want to manipulate them. In the 90s, the early 90s, they were pulling a real stunt. They were selling off the gold out of the banks' vaults, And so in 87, gold was $800 an ounce. And then by 93, gold had fallen down to about $300 an ounce. Okay. 93, 94, it had fallen to $300 an ounce or thereabouts, Anyway, so I knew this old guy who was pretty savvy with investments and, the stock market and gold. And he knew the gold argument and so forth. Along about 1994, I asked him, hey, what do you think about gold? Now, gold had been falling since 1987 from 800 down to 300. And he says, that gold, that ain't worth nothing. That just keeps dropping every time. I don't think you should pay attention to that. Anyway, in the years gone by since that conversation with that old man, I look back at the conversation and think, oh, he should have said, hey, gold's on sale right now at $300 an ounce. You should load up on it. But he didn't say that. He was looking at the price movement of it going down and down and down. But in my way of thinking nowadays, if you go to the grocery store and the price is going down, it's on sale. It's not to be avoided, but he wanted to avoid it because he was looking for things that would go up, predictably go up. And so that's why I asked if you thought that gold or silver was on sale, or is it overpriced?
Yeah. I would say I would focus on the necessities for yourself. Like I would say the the market for this is bad now, so I wouldn't suggest it now, but I mean, maybe if you can find another area or something, but like, a house, a vehicle, and food, shelter,
Mm-hmm. A bag of beans.
A bag of beans, some pointy sticks to defend yourself with, and then, I'm not smarter than any of the analysts or anything, just standard investment stuff.
Please
Mm-hmm.
stop fibbing, Howdy. It's embarrassing.
Welcome back, Tommy. Cool. Start reading, baby. Let's rock out.
Okay, before I read, sir, could I have authorization to answer any question
Any questions?
any questions that are proposed in this writing?
Sure.
Oh, thank you. I'm funny about authority sometimes and insolence and that kind of thing, but thank you. Hey, Christian, is God our Savior or what? Why, yes, He is. Our Lord Jesus Christ is our Savior. Monday, January 26th, 2026, 9:27 a.m. 26 now, 43 later. The sun's been up almost 2 hours. Sweet. It's amazing but true. Every once in a while, a Christian will ask me, Ace, What does God save us from?
Did you have the answer to that one, Tommy?
Everything.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Everything that one needs saving from.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. Can I get an amen?
Amen.
Amen. Do you see?
Hallelujah.
But
Amen.
when the Christian asked me this question, it's kind of like fighting words, you know. They're setting me up for a trap because they've got this preconceived idea of hell. Well, what does God save us from? Ace. Because they want to go into the discussion of hell and what it is and, you know, so forth. Go ahead.
Do you see how ridiculous that question is, dear one? Read between the lines. Anyone who asks that question is asking the question for confirmation. You see, they have this preconceived idea of HE double toothpicks. And they want me to say that God saves a fella from hell. How about some? Do you think closed quotes would be appropriate?
Yes. Thanks for finding that.
Don't mean to be nitpicking unstrategic.
That's why we do the reading several times.
I understand that, but I don't like to be nitpicking unstrategically, sir.
Yeah. We need to find our typos.
That would have been funny if that's what they wanted you to say. They wanted you to say the whole rest of the letter.
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe they're honest petitions or maybe they're trick questions. I guess it depends on the judge who considers them. But there is so much hidden in that question if you think about it like I did. What does God save us from? How about this for an answer? God saves us from every kind of hell you can imagine. Oh my. And you know, God cannot, quote, save us from any kind of hell until we are at least somewhat acquainted with that hell. Hell is a vital experience. We need hell. Wow. Apart from hell, salvation is a vastly underappreciated idea. Wow. So, what does God save us from? I must say, Ace, when you hit a home run, it's a grand slam. But forgive my flattery, here we go. So, what does God save us from? Here is a partial list. God saves us from sin, condemnation, and death. Those are the three major biblical terms. And man, oh man, don't we have a lot to talk about now. Just consider the idea that God saves us from death. You see, death and dying is a pain in the ass to our experience every day of our every day of our lives. Every day it's something. Stubbing our toe on the coffee table, backing our car into a tree because we couldn't find our glasses in the dark of the morning. You know, this dying condition even leads to enough brain fog that we cannot even think straight nor communicate rightly on a regular basis. We are dying, and dying explains so very much. After all, Romans 5:12 says, death was passed through into all mankind, and that's why we all sin and make mistakes. How about that?
Yeah.
Because we are weak and frail and dealing with one shitty situation from another, cradle to grave. So, what does God save us from? Glad you asked. Glad you're contemplating it. God saves one and all from death, from sin and condemnation and death. And I think we can agree that death is not so very bad.
Yeah, not. So let me get that right.
And I think we can agree when we're thinking about it that death is not so very bad, but the journey to death, now that really sucks. Getting older sucks unless you're still 12. Well, maybe even then. Losing your hair sucks. Losing your memory sucks. Unless you're trying to forget about that first girlfriend. Cutting your finger while making stir-fry cabbage sucks. Once you're dead, you don't know junk.
Jack.
Yes, Jack.
Yeah.
Jack. But the journey to death, we all have something negative to say about that. We are all condemned to die. Thanks, Adam.
Thanks, Grandpa. Grandpa Adam.
Oh, so sad. So sad. We're all condemned. If I'm condemned, you're condemned too. Forgive me. We are all condemned to die. Thanks, Adam. Sucks. But thank God for Paul, our apostle, and our poet. He's the clearest among all the Bible writers to explain to us that death has been issued its pink slip. Pink slip? Well, at least it's that.
Mm-hmm.
Forgive me. And that wages of death, at least one has a pink slip. Gee whiz. And that the wages of sin, death, will not have a permanent place in the finished product of God.
I love that phrase, the finished product of God.
Yes. Death's role in God's purpose will bring us to a wonderful appreciation of the completeness of life itself. And one day, not only will we all bow the knee and all confess Jesus as Lord, but we will sing like birds a wonderful eternal song that goes like this. Oh, death, where is your sting? Oh, death, where is your victory? Ha ha ha, swallowed up was death by victory. See 1 Corinthians 15:54 through 55. I know it doesn't rhyme in English, but wait till you can hear the song in the language of victory. Listen, I consider my old Christian pals, my old traditional Christian pals, to be a pathetic bunch. Whew. Wow. Glad you've got that gracious vision, Ace, and you confess it right here in print. They are clueless when it comes to any serious revelation of God and God's doings, but not as serious as I am. They are not known to be serious Bible students like me. They've got a religion. They've got a superstition. Probably pagan or something like that. They've got a mythos going in which God somehow saves them if they remain good boys and good girls. But when they use the word saves, it's really sketchy or shallow. Yes. And you're not sure it means, and I'm not, no, wait, shouldn't that be I?
No.
And you're not sure it means anything at all, according to MK Ultra rumor seeding. Yes. But I'll boldly smack them around and say that salvation is entirely the work of God, and we cannot help nor hinder this grand and glorious work of God saving us from every annoying thing that pops up. Wow. Wow. That is a fearlessly bold thing to say, truthfully. Yes. I rate it very highly, Ace. Yes. I petition for a short break so I can multitask and roll a fine American tobacco cigarette, which may not be from Venezuela, because a lot of American tobacco is exported to China, where they get more money for it, and then American manufacturers use Venezuelan tobacco for domestic use here in the States.
I love the backstory.
Yeah.
It all circles back to China, one way or another. I had a couple of thoughts listening to Tommy's excellent reading of today's letter. I was thinking, I have a lot of thoughts. I guess I'll just say the first thing that comes to mind. One is that I have a picture in my head of there's, some kid drowning in the middle of the lake. And there's this lifeguard fella. And we're thinking, oh, he's going to save that drowning child. And everyone looks to the lifeguard. And the lifeguard takes a deep breath, looks at the kid, and he says, hey, the land's over here. You know what to do. That's kind of half serious. The other thing I was thinking about is like, oh, well, what is he saving us from? The problem is, in order for heaven not to be kind of awful, that's what you remember the quotes we were reading about. Oh, God takes pleasure in torturing the ungodly, and
Oh yeah, it was crazy.
the saints are singing Kumbaya and in euphoria and ecstatic pleasure watching the torture or whatever. And I was thinking, if that's true, the folks in hell are kind of the good guys because they're providing pleasure to God and all of the saints.
How odd, yes.
But saved from what? I think you hit the nail close to the head. Sin, death, condemnation, the fallen state of creation, such as it is. What more do you want?
God saved me from the KJV 1611 in the Quran. Yeah.
Have you seen those?
From the tradition men. Sorry, go ahead. Sorry, excuse me.
No. Oh, you could take it. You had something going. The traditions of men and the KJV and the Quran and the.
Well, come to think of it, not the whole KJV 1611, just certain mistakes native thereof. Yeah. God save me from those. Yeah.
Another, I was thinking of, there's this joke like, those, it's a trope, and, like the woman in a relationship's never happy. And there's this picture where, Lois Lane is, with Superman, and she's like looking over and pouting and thinking to herself, "Is this really the best I can get?"
Oh my
Or
God.
like, and there's another joke about this. It's like, this isn't serious, but it's like, why did, like, when you're, I forget how the joke goes, but like when they're in Eden, like everything's good, everything's happy, but it just wasn't enough for Eve.
Oh my God.
Never satisfied.
Mm-hmm.
Andy, that reminds me of the curse that was announced on Eve, that she would have pain during childbirth and that her want would be for her husband or something.
Yes. It was something like that.
Yes. Her want, her desire would be for her husband or something like that. I still don't understand it. It may account though for monkey climbing or monkey branching, which is a sociological term. Yeah, or a psychological term. Yeah.
Yeah, this unending desire stuff. What's funny is I talked with Ace about this the other day about Schopenhauer, about how the will is just in this horrible state where you're just trapped in these desires, trying to satisfy them, and they're never satisfied, and we're on a treadmill going nowhere, like a hamster in a wheel. And it's just never enough. God can come and reconcile the world and save everyone from sin, death, and condemnation. And I forgot what the guy said. He's like, "That's it." I forgot what he said. He's like, "I guess we just really need to watch the sinners burn."
As if he himself is not a sinner.
Yeah, it's not really sinners and people who aren't sinners. He just wants to watch people burn. I'm not sure why. It's sort of a strange.
It's imagining that one would enjoy seeing people burn may be more pleasurable than actually seeing people burn. So maybe it's a matter of self comfort that some of these rascals are comforted by imagining that they will see others burn. That's where maybe the self comfort is, rather than actually witnessing other people burn. But anyway, yeah.
Yeah, maybe they just want to talk down to people, or something like that. I do. One thing that comes to mind with all those quotes kicking around in my head is I'm pretty sure I read somewhere that God takes like no pleasure in the death of the wicked.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
So how does that play into our idea of eternal conscious torment?
Oh my God.
I guess if you say such things, you're going to rob these pilgrims of their tool of self comfort. You rob them of a childish conceptualization of hell when they use it to comfort themselves. Oh, I've surmised that most hellfire and brimstoners are fearmongers seeking to comfort their own terror.
Yeah, maybe they just have fun scaring people. Maybe they're like ghosts or things that go bump it. They just have fun looking like I don't know what it's called when you take pleasure in the fear of others. Phobia something.
The Beatles, which is a rock band from England back in the 60s, they wrote a song about that, about the childish pleasure of inciting fear in others. I was trying to remember the name of it.
Okay, start with but.
I'm sorry for taking us through that long and winding digression, Ace.
This is a journey of faith, and we're in it together.
But I'll boldly smack them around and say that salvation is entirely the work of God, you silly pilgrim, and we cannot help nor hinder this grand and glorious work of God saving us from every annoying thing that pops up, including clever fools, live streams. And of course, it's a timing thing. It's God's Aeonian purpose to save one and all individuals. Each in his own order, says Paul. And finally, in 1 Corinthians 10:13, we get this from our apostle. No trial has taken you except what is human. Now faithful is God, who will not be leaving you to be tried above what you are able, but together with the trial, we'll be making the sequel also to enable you to undergo it. No trial has taken you except what is human. Now faithful is God, who will not be leaving you to be tried above what you are able, but together with the trial, will be making the sequel also to enable you to undergo it. God is faith. What's that?
Sorry. I love sequels.
Faster. Whew. God is faithful to all his creatures. No, excuse me. God is faithful to all his creatures. God will not be leaving any of us, his creatures, behind. Every trial he gives comes with the grand and glorious sequel of God, eventually, if not presently. And speak of God leaving you behind, check out Luke 19:10. The Son of Man came to seek and save that which is lost, including me and perhaps you. Now, if a traditional Christian dude asks you, what does God save us from? You'll know, you'll have understanding. They don't know God. What? Whoa. Oh. You'll know they don't know God like I do, nor his power like I do. For he saves that which is lost, and he saves from sin, condemnation, and death. Grace to you, Ace Theo, the reader, and sometimes the rebuked. Romans 1:4, designated Son of God with power, according to the Spirit of holiness, by the resurrection of the dead. 1 Corinthians 15:53, it is sown in dishonor, it is roused in glory, it is sown in infirmity, it is roused in power. 1 Corinthians 1:24, Christ, the power of God and the wisdom of God. Now God rouses the Lord also, and will be rousing us up through his power, if he hasn't done so already. Ephesians 1:19 through 20. The transcendent grace, the transcendent blah 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 blah. The transcendent greatness of his power, which is operative in the Christ, rousing him from among the dead and seating him at his right hand among the celestials. Philippians 3:10. To know him and the power of his resurrection and the fellowship of his sufferings, conforming us to his death. Oh. 2 Corinthians 12:9. Sufficient for you is my grace, for my power is in infirmity is being perfected. With the greatest relish, then, will I rather be glorying in my infirmities, that the power of Christ should be tabernacling over me. I guess that was the Apostle Paul's personal confession.
Yeah, I could say that.
Okay. Yeah. With the greatest relish, then, will I rather be glorying in my infirmities, that the power of Christ should be tabernacling over me. Postscript. God will be saving us all from death at the right time. 1 Corinthians 15:26, because death's abolition is said to be the last item on his calendar. And when he ends death and dying, then infirmity and weakness will be gone also. All of it. 1 Corinthians 15:53. What a glorious day that will be when God is all in each and every one of us. One day, quote, this mortal must put on immortality. Wow, Ace. No reason to dawdle, I guess.
Let's get right to the point, baby.
That's it.
What does God save us from? From sin, condemnation, weakness, infirmity, hangnails, annoying neighbors, and annoying ourselves.
It might be hard to put on immortality if you've already put it on. But
Christ,
maybe not.
Christ has already put it on. And he is the blueprint of all who are reposing in death.
Have you?
Have you?
Yes.
Have I what?
Put on immortality.
No, I still have to take a shower once in a while and have to deal with diarrhea once in a while and bad breath and hygiene. Yeah, I'm not immortal yet. I have not put on immortality yet. But the
That's,
prophecy is one day this mortal will put on immortality.
I guess that's the only benchmark you've got. No wonder. No
Otherwise,
wonder you honestly render a sincere response. The flesh is the only benchmark you have currently. But
unless
maybe not.
unless God gives a man faith about these matters, and then by faith we can look forward to God's calendar actually being implemented. Let's see, on Wednesday, he's got an appointment to do that. And next Friday, he's got an appointment to do that. Oh, look here. The very last thing on his calendar is the abolition of death and dying and mortality and infirmity and weakness and horror.
I think he missed the memo because he did that in, I think, 70 AD.
Oh, I did miss that memo.
What about the memo of the helmet of salvation?
Ugh.
Oh, that's pointless. Thank you, Ace. God bless you. Bye, y'all. Thank you.
So he took off.
Yes. Could you read this call out, Mr. Howdy, and address it if you could?
Garimon estin. How do you say no? Que tanasiten are. Sorry, I don't know enough. Our default mistakes in the present venue along comes teaching that states were being animated by the living God, source and life of all things, who then is responsible.
God is responsible for both our situation and our rescue. Hot dog.
I guess Tommy has his glorified body or something already.
Yeah, he doesn't stink.
Now what?
Oh, now we can invite others to come in. Feel free to hit the StreamYard link and come in, boys and girls, and have fun with two of the most jovial guys on the internet, Howdy and Ace.
We're going to be laughing at the torture of our neighbors.
Burning in hell forever. So happy.
Be sure to take note of another member in the chat,
Mm-hmm.
and that they will most probably be in the lake of fire in the coming eons.
Oh my God.
Look forward. Howdy guessed wrong, I guess. I feel like, I don't know, maybe I just have a different intuition. Like I would be cheering and munching my popcorn and, clapping my hands when a fella gets saved.
Yeah, that sounds like a good thing to rejoice about.
It would be like, again, my analogy is like, the kid drowning, and then the guy puts out his hand, grabs him up, and I'm like, yes, he saved him. And then someone else on the boat is like, what? That's it? Throw him back in so I can laugh at him. I don't.
Mhm.
It's just like a strange thing to say.
I have somewhat of a personal experience with the kid drowning because I lived in Southern California in 1992, 93, when LA had severe rainstorms and it was flooding everything. And, there was a lot of news items about the matter, and I was watching the news, and right there on the screen was this 11-year-old boy caught in one of the canals, and he was unsavable. You just couldn't reach him. Nobody could reach him. He was floating down too fast down the river, and he had a very disturbed look on his face, and then nobody ever saw that 11-year-old kid again. He got floated out to the ocean.
Sounds pretty terrible, but apparently we're in the new heaven and new earth, so part and parcel.
You want to read this call out and comment on it?
There is no reason to discuss theology. What?
Go ahead.
Someone's echoing.
It's Sean Eagle. He's got to fix his device.
With unbelievers or universalists around here, they don't even understand basic philosophy.
Yeah, this was a quote from JG. He snuck that in this morning.
Oh.
And then Halsey says, name that fallacy. There is no reason to discuss theology with unbelievers and universalists around here. They don't even understand basic philosophy. Do you have to understand basic philosophy to say that God is the Savior of all? I don't understand why you wouldn't want to discuss theology with unbelievers or universalists. Unbelievers need a discussion about theology. What? See?
Yeah, it reminds me of a quote. Speaking of like philosophy, there's this quote where my man Socrates is talking to some guy, and he's like, Socrates, you don't even understand what should be done with you in all of your ignorance. He's like, I'll accept my just punishment and be taught. What else would we do to someone who's ignorant?
Uh-huh.
You know?
So what would you say to JG, who just got finished saying this?
I'm not sure what it means or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, doesn't his Bible encourage preaching the gospel, if he has any gospel? There is no reason to discuss theology with unbelievers. Okay.
Well, the reason I don't understand much of what anyone says because of how like ambiguous what they're saying is. Like, so reasons that could be like prudential reasons, like or they could be like like hypothetical imperatives, or maybe he means reasons in the sense of like normative reasons, like there is no obligation to discuss theology or something like that. So I need to disambiguate reasons. The other words I don't think need too much disambiguation, although I'm not sure what's meant by understand basic philosophy either. But I think I'm with you on the general sentiment. Like, what's just? What should we do with the ignorant one? What's his just punishment? I would suspect to teach him. I'm not sure what else I'd do. Like,
So is there a fallacy for this quote? Because I know that there's like a list of 10 or 50 fallacies or something. You know,
but
that's the blah blah fallacy, and that over there, that's the blah 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 fallacy.
yeah, I don't like there's formal fallacies which are somewhat, I think worth learning, like affirming the consequent and denying the antecedent. But in terms of like informal fallacies, like what people generally mean when they say if something is a fallacy, I just don't see what work it's doing. I don't.
I think
Usually
that
when someone, how
it
I
seems to
interpret it,
me,
go
it
ahead.
seems to me when someone like JG says, "Oh, that's the blah blah fallacy," it kind of shuts down the conversation.
Yeah, there's a lot of like ways of ending conversations. There's tons of conversation stoppers.
That's like saying, "I'm not going to talk to you because you're stupid," which is what this quote basically says. Don't talk to unbelievers and universalists. They're stupid.
Yeah. But the thing is, like, I think I'm not picking on JG or even Halsey because it's going to hit her and a lot of other people. It's just that a lot of I interpret a lot of what everyone's saying as just fanciful ways of disapproval. Like they want to say something like, I disapprove of you, or I disapprove of what you're doing, or I don't want to talk to you. But maybe they feel like saying something like that isn't very impactful or forceful because it's like some trivial autobiographical fact about their psychology or something. So in order to make what they're saying seem they'll dress it up, like they'll say that, oh, that's a fallacy, or they'll say something, but if on my interpretation of it, it says something like, I disapprove, and they like are shaking their fist or something.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone, most of what everyone says, I interpret as everyone shaking their fist at each other.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. Not sure what else it could be.
All right, let's see. There is no reason to discuss theology with unbelievers.
Like, what's constitutive of reason? Like reasons are sort of, there's different accounts of reasons. There's like instrumental reasons, or reasons internalism if you're a Humean or something, where to have reason to X is to say that it's cashed out in terms of desires. So like you desire Y, so you have reason to X because X is conducive to Y. That's generally the analysis that's rendered. So, like, let's say you don't want to talk to Ace. Well, then you have a reason not to talk to Ace because it does not accord to your preference or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
There's other analyses of reason. So sometimes people will distinguish good reasons from bad reasons. That's generally going to be called justification. To be justified is to have a good reason. And to be unjustified is to have no reason or a bad reason. So if you think of stuff like either the moon is made of cheese or cats are red, therefore there is no God or something like that, where that's a reason, but you probably wouldn't want to call it a good reason. And so then you're going to get into theories of justification, of inferences. There's deduction, which is non-ampliative inferencing, and then there's abduction and induction. And then there's some people have some notion of non-inferential justification. But it's unclear if he's talking about like epistemic reasons or maybe moral reasons or instrumental reasons. So there's a lot that could mean like a lot. So I'm not sure exactly what he's trying to say.
Okay, so let me see if I can interpret it. It means he is quite satisfied with himself. And he doesn't care. He's so high and lofty that he doesn't care that anybody else comes up to his level of loftiness.
I just interpret it as I have no motivation to discuss theology with unbelievers or universalists. And then he's sort of shaking his fist disapprovingly towards you or the panel or the channel or something. And then Halsey's sort of doing the same thing where she has the little arrow pointing to his quote and then saying, name that fallacy. She's sort of saying, I don't appreciate what he's saying, and I disagree, and I disapprove. And she's shaking her fist towards him.
It's humorous.
Yeah, I mean, it is, I forget I'm not good at poetry language and stuff, but yeah, there's some words to describe the situation.
Hey, JG, is God our Savior or what? There's no reason to discuss theology with unbelievers and universalists.
I mean, you'd have to like, you'd have to interpret, because of what you said, obviously, like, theology is just simply like the study of God, then, I mean, arguably evangelism or, even a cursory presentation of the gospel would be, what's funny is like, logi is just like words or sayings. So theology is just like sentences of God. And so assuming the gospel is sentences of God, that would be theology on like a etymological analysis.
I mean, weren't we all unbelievers at one time? Someone discussed it with us, and the unbeliever became a believer.
Yeah, he probably means something like, I guess soteriology, probably. I mean, I don't know. I'm guessing. I would assume. Or I would infer, to the best of my ability, he probably means something like eschatology or soteriology, like specific doctrines that. So here's the thing that can happen. Like maybe it's the case that there's like linguistic communities where people are having conversations about complicated topics like I don't know, general relativity, or maybe you're an anesthesiologist and talking about like what's the dosage and why, yada yada yada. So there's like a lot of situations where some expertise is required to sort of sit at the table um, for particular conversations. So maybe he's saying something like, well, what I want to talk about with Ace is something like calculus, but Ace doesn't have like some prerequisite background knowledge of arithmetic or something. And so um, that conversation would be unfruitful or something like that.
Our old buddy Tim Theo is here. Do you want to invite him in to explore these wonderful notions?
Is he in the back?
And he's not in the back. Tim Theo, feel free to click the link and come in before you get kicked out of the side chat. Tim Theo says, God is the Christian's savior. I don't think universalists have the same God. Well, there's only one God, buddy, from what I understand. God is one.
I remember this guy as being a bit of a firebrand. He sort of he spears his words. I forget the Greek word. He's a spear worder, a berater. I forget how the other translations render it. He's very caustic, but doesn't bother me too much.
Mm-hmm.
If he wants to pull up. Oh, I'm sorry. You asked me to invite him. Tim Theo, you're invited to Ace's
Hootenanny.
Universalist soiree hootenanny get down.
Man. So reading between the lines of this JG quote, there is no reason to discuss theology with unbelievers or universalists. They don't even understand basic philosophy. What does basic philosophy have to do with theology?
Well, so there's like philosophy of religion, and maybe you could come at theology from that perspective, although, I mean, philosophy of religion is a very broad community. Like there's Christians, non-Christians, agnostics, atheists. Everyone sort of contributes to that program. Christian theologians and Muslim theologians and atheist theologians are generally the people that are talking to each other. If you're looking at like academics, maybe he means something like some folk notion of philosophy of religion, which excludes non-Christians, unbelievers, and universalists from that program. Which is fine. Like you can have your own community. But Tim is still going at it.
I'm still fascinated with this JG quote. Because I think even Jesus said, go into all the world and preach the gospel, or something like that. Go into all the world except to the unbelievers and the universalists and preach to them. Well, yeah, okay. Name that fallacy. That sounds like a game. For $300, Fred, name that fallacy. That would be the pride fallacy, the I know more than you fallacy, and I don't even need to talk to you. You don't deserve a good talking to.
Yeah, a lot of conversations to me seem like spell casting, where you say like the right phrase or something, and then you either get to end the conversation or claim victory.
Mm-hmm.
There's like a book of spells.
Mm-hmm.
We got I felt like a funny designation or description would be like, we got a fella in chat who can withstand God's will, or something like that.
Oh, yeah. That would be Tim Theo. He's powerful. His will is so powerful, God must get Tim Theo's permission even to save him.
Well, if he doesn't get to watch everyone tormented eternally, he's not interested.
It makes him happy. Nothing like the joy of watching a big old bloody traffic accident while you're here on earth, and then the torment of unbelievers throughout eternity. Mm.
I don't know why they never cop to it. Like they should say something like, I'm so excited to watch you burn. I want to see, like how those quotes sort of describe it. You have to say something like that, but then if it's pleasurable to God and pleasurable to the saints, then why wouldn't you cop to it and say, I'm excited. I can't wait to see all those children, women, my parents. Like, this is the good news we've all been waiting for. you'd have to like pull up on panels and say, "Man, I'm ecstatic. You're going to be tormented, and I'm going to watch you forever." And then I guess they would, but like, why wouldn't they say that if that's the case? Maybe there's like maybe they're ashamed to say something like that or something.
Yeah, I think it would reveal the delusion and the ruse itself, because we know that's what, psychotic, or it would be a sociopath behavior, sociopath attitude.
Yeah, probably if someone was walking around saying stuff like that, like they would get taken to a asylum.
Yeah. Mm.
But at least some of them did, at least throughout history. They had the courage to stand on their conviction and boldly proclaim the pleasures of torment.
By the way, boys and girls, I just put the link in over at tentmaker.org. There's a whole bunch of quotes from famous Christian preachers who just love hell and the thought of tormenting souls eternally in hell. The whole page full of them. So go over there and see what the famous Christian preachers had to say about how they were going to laugh at sinners burning in hell.
I wish he would pop in here and explain a little bit of it, because I can't wrap my mind around this doctrine.
Tim Theo, you've been invited here 2 times. Come on in now, right now. Hit that StreamYard link and explain to us why it's such a thrill to see sinners burning in hell.
Yes, Joseph, who I think is Tommy.
Yes.
I think about 95% of what everyone says is rhetorical spellcasting, or very fanciful ways of expressing disapproval. Which makes a lot of what everyone says not very interesting to me, but sort of you know what's crazy to me is the vitriol against universalists.
Mm-hmm.
Universalists are sort of like this group sort of just saying, like you could say something like their hope goes too far or something, but to say that you could say like they're misguided or something even, but the amount of like disdain, and I think it's what's really strange is actually universalism isn't condemned, as far as I know, in EO or RC, and in most Protestant well, I'm not like an expert in all that Protestant stuff, but there are certainly, and in fact, I think it's in the Catechism that people should hope that people are saved that we don't know, right? But
And EO is Eastern Orthodox, RC is Roman Catholic.
yeah, there are Eastern Orthodox deacons who have, I mean, there's been a lot of people who have hoped for the universal reconciliation. And even the Roman Catholics say we can hope for it. They just say that we don't know, or that you can't preach it as it's heterodox to say that it's true. So I guess you would be technically heterodox, but to hope for it isn't condemned. You can be a hopeful universalist almost anywhere. I mean, who would? I'm not sure who would want to put a fella down for that. And it's also strange. It's like a more broad, like, let's say, moral enterprise of, out of everything that's going on in the world, we have to deal with these wicked universalists who are preaching that God's going to save everyone. We're not going to, I mean, there's so many things on my list that I would like, that would come before that. Even if I thought you were wrong, I would still, like, you're not high on the agenda. You know what I'm saying? Perfect love casts out fear.
Yeah. What a notion that is, huh? And
Yeah, those say. Good.
who is perfect love? That would be God. And he's the one who casts out fear out of one and all, each in his own order.
Yeah, they like to go to, work on your salvation with fear and trembling, and fear is the beginning of wisdom. But then you have, remember, Paul says that you don't have a spirit of fear. And then this one. Where is everybody?
Well, it's Monday. They're working while looking over their shoulder or listening to this while they're working. I'm glad you're here keeping me company. Mm.
Did I miss anything last night? You threw a soiree or anything?
We went over Romans 4 and 5. And holy smoke, are those two chapters just absolutely amazing. There was so much in them concerning how God is going to justify the unjust. It's almost like shocking that while we were Christians, or while I was a Christian, no preacher ever brought up Romans 4 and 5 in any serious kind of way. Because, I don't know if you've ever spent much time in church, but they mostly read the red letters of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. And I remember I think it was Deborah who said she went to a church and they read a little bit from Paul. And before he read, the preacher apologized. I'm sorry, but we're going to read from Paul right now. He apologized for it. What?
Yeah, I'm not sure why. It might even just be easier to just like be an Ebionite and say that Paul is a false apostle, which some people do. That was like a historic branch of Christianity. But people don't like the guy. I think what happens is like there's some tension, and it's hard to like speaking of reconciliation, it's sometimes it's difficult to reconcile sort of dialectical tension in all of the text. And maybe they get in their head, well, I got to choose between Jesus and Paul, and I mean, you have to choose Jesus, and so
So I think I can say personally, with my own testimony, that I love Jesus even more now that I am a student of Paul. Because when I just read Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, man, so much went over my head and was so confusing. Like Jesus saying, beware of the abomination of desolation, which was spoken of by the prophet Jeremiah or Daniel or somebody, and pray that it happens not in the winter. What? And
or a Sabbath.
Or Sabbath, yeah. Whatever that means. I couldn't figure it out when I was a Christian. And you must hate your father and mother and chop off your hand, pluck out your eye. What? Don't go into a road of the Gentiles. I was only sent to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. And of course, there's the problem of just the King James translation as well, throwing a lot of mud into the waters. And not even with the important words like eon, but the verb tenses make a big difference. If you get the verb tense right, there's a lot of beauty in it. If you get the verb tense wrong, you are definitely going to be confused.
Yeah, the tenses are interesting. They don't really cleanly map onto past, present, and future, and there's also figurative. So you have to be careful with that, although it's definitely worth doing. So recently, the scholarship on the languages, like the verbal tenses, is that it's more it's less about the temporal nature, but it's more about the kind. Like it could be stative, perfected or imperfect, like incomplete, completed, or the gloss that some people say it's like zooming in and zooming out. Like the verb tenses are used like a camera. Sometimes, temporally, sometimes non-temporally. I think I don't agree with this guy, but some people say you shouldn't get the temporal nature of the action at all from the tenses, which I probably disagree with, but it's definitely not always like aorist is not always, simple past, or even the future isn't always what's called future isn't always future, or pluperfect isn't always. Like there's rules, but they're broken. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Rules are made to be broken. An example of it is where the angel's talking to the father of Jesus, and where you know how he's dreaming. I think it's like the start of Matthew. He's visions and dreaming, and he's going here and there, to and fro, and just listening to what the angel is telling him to do.
Yeah.
And then the angel comes to him, and he says, "The people who are seeking seeking his life died, but the seeking is in the present active, and then the death is in the past or something. And so you couldn't, if you're going to be rigid with it, then it doesn't make any sense, because it would mean that they died and they're seeking him. Like the people who are seeking him have died and they're like zombies or
Oh,
something.
yeah. Yeah.
But the point of it is to focus in on his point of view, because from his point of view, they're still alive. And so when the angel's talking to him, he's saying, those who are seeking your child, even though there are none, he's saying, from your perspective, the ones who you think are seeking your child have died.
Yeah.
And so what they'll say is it's used as like a camera lens. And so all that stuff is it's like making a movie or something.
God bless you.
I'm not doing a very good job of explaining it, but
I get you. I see what you're saying. Yeah. Because those who are seeking your life, that would be very emotional. And, present tense in his mind, and they have died, that would be a relief. To have to rewire the circuitry in your brain to say, oh, okay, so it's a great matter of faith. Those who are seeking your life have died. Cool.
Yeah, you understand what it means. Like you immediately understand, like the people, like if I say the people who are seeking your life have died, you would immediately know, oh, the people who I think are seeking my life, who were seeking my life have died. You wouldn't, if I said those who are seeking your life have died, you would immediately say, they're zombies? That wouldn't, that's not what would come to your head, but
not to my head anyway.
But yeah, that's what you would get out. That's what you would pull out in the exegesis if you use those sort of rigid interpretive frameworks.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not the only place. It happens dozens of times. So it's not like a one-time thing. And even when it is to be interpreted that way, there's still like figures of speech where you shift the temporal tenses for effect. You know what I mean? It's like if I say we're going to the movies and you say it is so.
Yes. Like Captain Picard. Make it so.
You can use temporal for artistic effect. So
howdy, Justin. Yeah, Justin's here.
How's it going?
Speak, Justin. Speak, baby.
Yeah, one sec. Room closed.
Come closer to the mic, because you sound like you're speaking from the bathroom.
No, I don't know. I started really. Hello.
Hello.
Oh, I can't see if my mic's working right because you have something covering it.
So, do you have to see yourself? Here, I'll put you up there.
No, I wanted to see if my mic's working right, jackass.
Your mic is working okay. It could be better if you came closer to the mic.
Whatever. I'm a jackass, Ace.
So JG stopped by and he said, there's no reason to discuss theology with unbelievers or universalists around here. They don't even understand basic philosophy.
Mm-hmm. Ace, I'm a jackass.
You are?
Yep.
Well,
like I started thinking about like. Well, give me one sec. I was just thinking about like. I'm poking at people who cannot be saved. Why am I poking at them? Am I just that evil? Like, no one was like poking at me while I was deluded into thinking I was a believer. Why am I poking at them? Am I just that fucking evil? Like actually, like, it's really bad. Like, my entire like life is poking at people who can't be saved.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's my life. That's what I go to bed thinking about, how to mess with these people, and that's what I wake up doing. I need to stop.
Well, sir,
Well, sir.
you can go on a poking fast.
Yeah, a break fast. That
Yeah.
is like you break your fast, right?
So
Yeah.
you determine I'm not going to poke anyone for 3 days and see how it feels.
Oh man, I gotta go longer than 30 days, or I'm gonna be screwed. I'm like I was telling my friend, hey, I'm like you when you say you're gonna stop drinking. I have made it the whole 3 days without drinking, and then he's like, gets like like extremely drunk the fourth day. Yeah, I'm basically like an alcoholic or an addict of any kind. Like, I was literally looking up, I mean, the answer is obviously yes, but I wanted to see what people wrote on it, like about addiction to trolling on the internet. One guy said, I'm addicted to trolling on the internet. And the first sentence of the article was, this is not a troll post.
That's funny.
Yeah. He wrote it in all caps, so he must have been serious. I want to walk out in the snow, or it's kind of snowy, like ice. I'm gonna get somewhere though. There's a gas station. This is not. Now, if I slip and slide, it will be on camera.
Oh, yeah.
That way, like, I can get what I deserve for trolling them. You know, I should probably like it should be a must be that I slip and slide. But we'll see. I'm gonna make it. I'm not gonna try to make it happen, but it is icy out there. You'll see.
Are you walking right now?
I'm about to. Yeah, I'm going outside right now.
You want to hear today's essay?
Yep.
You ready?
Yeah, as soon as this garage opens, I'll be able to hear you.
Okay.
Oh my god, it really is icy. Look at this. This is snow. Oh my god, that's ice. It's gonna be a little dangerous. I could literally ice skate on this. I'm gonna try it anyway. Okay, well, let's try to go this way. I think might be a start. I have a car flying at me. Yeah, what? Yeah, I'll try. I'm gonna end up having to like scoot. This is insane. We'll see what happens. If I fall into the river, I'll tell you. Well, it's funny to me. I deserve it, right, Grandma? I deserve it. Yeah, man. Challenge 2. Oh my god. I'm gonna literally fall over. This is a really bad idea. Grandma, I don't think this is walkable.
Is she out there with you?
No, she's not. She's standing in the garage. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I want to get to the gas station, but this is really dangerous. Yeah, it's open. Says online. Yeah. You think I should crawl there? Do you have ice skates?
Wish I had those slider things to walk on. These snowboard things.
To do. I don't want to sit inside all day. I really don't want to sit inside all day. I don't know. Can I drive your car? Can I?
I'm going to turn your mic up while you're conversing with your grandmother. Hey, howdy.
Hey.
You know, JG has no reason to talk to you.
Okay.
It's your loss, huh? Okay. You sound quite comfortable.
The only thing I've ever learned from JG is how not to believe.
I was on another panel last night, and I should have stayed on longer because I missed out on. We were reviewing a debate, and then one of the debaters, there's like Jim Bob versus, I think his name's Dr. Greg or something, and he pulled up, and I think right now Jim Bob's reviewing that, but I took off, and so I missed my opportunity to be reviewed by the premier. I don't know what you call him.
The premiere of what?
I don't know. It's like Eastern Orthodox guys like Jay Dyer, Jim Bob, Father Deacon, Ananias, and some others. I mean, there's like this pretty big community. Who's the other guys? Darth Dawkins and these Bonsonites. I'll just say like these Bonsonites.
Greg Bonson?
Yeah.
Huh.
And for some reason, I think I have like JG sort of in that area or ballpark.
Yeah.
But Jim Bob's like one of the more popular ones. He gets like,
Howdy. Do you think Christianity is a mental illness from what you've experienced? Let me give you some examples. You have Layman who's arguing with another guy who who believes you're going to hell if you believe the cross, and Layman argues to the other guy that your arguments about you believing Jesus is God, but while also not affirming my ridiculous statements that if Jesus uses the words "I am," he must be God, are Unitarian arguments, and therefore you're using a Unitarian argument. And it's never like these brain dead zombies never actually get down to the issue. What does it actually say? And if we're going to believe what it says, why are we making shit up? So you have brain dead zombies like Layman and Jack Smack and JG and Jill, and I mean they never actually get down to the issue. Now these are people who are mentally ill for sure. Whether or not the Bible's true, these people are incredibly they've let their brain fall out of their head. In fact, they think if their brain falls out of their head, they might as well let it happen because they're going to heaven when they die. They're stupid. They're so stupid they are described as dead in the Bible. And I hate to just put it that way, but be honest. Do you think these people are mentally ill? Obviously.
So I'm not a psychologist. I actually wanted to, you know what is, I saw on the on Amazon the DSM-5, or they're coming out with like the DSM-6. I was actually going to buy it so I could like refer to it. But yeah, right now I don't know much about mental health, unfortunately, or psychology, or
Let me ask you something. If 6.5 billion people are mentally ill, does it really make a difference? There's at least 6.5 billion people who are mentally ill, and then there's a whole nother religion that's just as confused as they are. And they walk around, act like everything's normal, and meanwhile in their head they think people are burning under their feet. These people aren't whether or not it's a normal is not the problem. It's not the problem of the DSM this or that. The problem is these people they're not people. They're stupid. They're dead. Just because you have 8 billion dead people on the earth doesn't mean they're not dead.
Howdy, could you read the ticker tape scrolling below?
To be or not to be mentally ill, do these three things at the same time. 1, overlook the good.
They do
2,
that.
focus on the bad.
Oh, they're really good at that.
And 3, exaggerate the importance of the bad.
And even make the bad worse while they're at it. Man, they're great at being mentally fucking insane. And in fact, it's very contagious because listening to them just makes you think these people like are all around me. I have to like jump the fence, and there's people going to gather around this mental illness. No wonder I'm never gonna be fucking over this trolling them. Like they're so fucking stupid.
So, Justin, are you walking or are you back in the house?
I'm back in the house.
You want to read the essay, or do you want me to read it to you?
Just read it to me.
All right. Got your feet propped up?
Yep.
Okay. Hey, Christian, is our God, is God our Savior or what? Monday, January 26th. It's amazing but true. Every once in a while, a Christian will ask me, Ace, what does God save us from? Do you see how ridiculous that question is, dear one? Read between the lines. Anyone who asks that question is asking the question for confirmation. You see, they have this preconceived idea of H-E double toothpicks, and they want me to say that God saves the fellow from hell. But there was so much hidden in that question, if you think about it. What does God save us from? How about this for an answer? God saves us from every kind of hell you can imagine. And God cannot save us from any kind of hell until we have at least until we are at least somewhat acquainted with that hell. Hell is a vital experience. We need hell. Apart from hell, salvation is vastly underappreciated idea. So what does God save us from? Here is a partial list. God saves us from sin, condemnation, and death. Those are three major biblical terms, and man, oh man, don't we have a lot to talk about now. Just consider the idea that God saves us from death. You see, death and dying is a pain in the ass to our experience every day of our lives. Every day it's something. Stubbing your toe on the coffee table, backing the car into a tree because you couldn't find your glasses in the dark of the morning. You know, this dying condition even leads it to enough brain fog that we cannot even think straight or communicate right on a regular basis. We are dying, and dying splains so very much. After all, Romans 5:12 says, "Death was passed through into all mankind, and that's why we all sin and make mistakes, because we are weak and frail and dealing with one shitty situation after another." So, what does God save us from? Glad you asked. God saves us one and all from death, from sin and condemnation and death. I think we can agree that death is not so very bad, but the journey to death, now that really sucks. Getting older sucks. Losing your hair sucks. Losing your memory sucks. Cutting your finger while making stir-fry cabbage sucks. Once you're dead, you don't know jack. But the journey to death, we all have something negative to say about that. We're all condemned to die. Thanks, Adam. Sucks. But thank God for Paul, our apostle and our poet. He is the clearest among all the Bible writers to explain to us that death has been issued its pink slip, and that death is the wages of sin, and that death, the wages of sin, will not have a permanent place in the finished product of God. Death's role in God's purpose will bring us all to a wonderful appreciation of the completeness of life itself. And one day, not only will we all bow the knee and all confess Jesus is Lord, but we will sing a wonderful eternal song that goes like this: "Oh, death, where is your sting? Oh, death, where is your victory? Ha ha! Swallowed up was death by victory." 1 Corinthians 15, 54 and 55. I know it doesn't rhyme in English, but wait till you can hear the song in the language of victory. Listen, I consider my old Christian pals to be a pathetic bunch. They are clueless when it comes to any serious revelation of God and God's doings. They're not known to be serious Bible students. They've got a religion, they've got a superstition, they've got a mythos going on in which God somehow saves them if they remain good boys and girls. But when they use the word saves, it's real sketchy, and you're not sure what it means. You're not sure it means much at all. But I'll boldly smack them around and say that salvation is entirely the work of God, and we cannot help nor hinder this grand and glorious work of God saving us all from every annoying thing that pops up. And of course, it's a timing thing. It's God's aeonian purpose to save one and all, each in his own order, says Paul. And finally, in 1 Corinthians 10:13, we get this from our apostle: "No trial has taken you except what is human. Now faithful is God, who will not be leaving you to be tried above what you are able, but together with the trial will be making the sequel also to enable you to undergo it." God is faithful to all his creatures. God will not be leaving any of his creatures behind. Every trial he gives comes with a grand and glorious sequel of God. And speaking, let me correct my typo. And speaking of God leaving you, quote unquote, leaving you behind, check out Luke 19, verse 10. "The Son of Mankind came to seek and to save that which is lost." Now, if a Christian dude asks you, what does God save us from? you'll know that they don't know God nor his power, for he saves that which is lost, and he saves from sin, condemnation, and death. Grace to you, ace to you, the reader, and sometimes the rebuked. Romans 1. Designated Son of God with power, according to the Spirit of holiness, by resurrection of the dead, plural. 1 Corinthians 15. It is sown in dishonor, it is roused in glory. It is sown in infirmity, it is roused in power. 1 Corinthians 1. Christ, the power of God and the wisdom of God. 1 Corinthians 6. Now God rouses the Lord also, and will be rousing us up through his power. Ephesians 1. The transcendent greatness of his power, which is operative in the Christ, rousing him from among the dead and seating him at his right hand among the celestials. Philippians 3. To know him and the power of his resurrection and the fellowship of his sufferings, conforming to his death. 2 Corinthians 12. Sufficient for you is my grace, for my power in infirmity is being perfected. Sufficient for you is my grace, for my power in infirmity is being perfected. With the great relish, then will I be glorying in my infirmities, that the power of Christ should be tabernacling over me. P.S. God will be saving us all from death at the right time. 1 Corinthians 15:26. Because death's abolition is said to be the last item on his calendar. And when he ends death and dying, then infirmity and weakness will be gone. 1 Corinthians 15:53. What a glorious day that will be when God is all in each and every one of us. One day this mortal must put on immortality.
What's that song? If all the raindrops were lemon drops and gumdrops, oh, what a world that would be.
Maybe that's why there has to be a second death. That song.
To
Because, I mean,
throw him into like a fire for writing it.
no. No. There needs a little bit of destruction before you can get any. Sorry, I'm trying to get around this way without falling. Yeah, I believe you. Yeah, I'll try. See if we can make it anywhere. Already had to scoot on my butt once. No, but look, if I don't know, it doesn't matter how many times Paul says the exact same thing with a different, I mean, what is Paul's most taught message? Is this the salvation of all with different tones? Practically, Oh, I should probably be careful when it's like that color. Yeah, go this way. But that would be demonic, right? That would be demonic. So we can't believe that.
Okay, I got to get out of here, boys and girls. Thank you for stopping by. Give me a thumbs up, leave comments, and share this episode with somebody. After all, it's only 3 hours long.
Yeah.
I'll put in the after show link right now in case you want to come in. Whoops, that was not the after show link. That was the link for Tent Maker.
That is the after show. Now you know what's going on in the beyond to come.
Yeah. Grace to you and exit stage right.